What was your goal, and what were you hoping to accomplish with having Laney play libero last week?
The goal was to continue to allow the players on our team to use their strengths and to showcase their strengths, and I feel like Laney has done a good job becoming more consistent with her passing numbers, and so we wanted to give her a shot to make some of those electric defensive plays, and going up against teams that were left side hitter heavy, it just made sense. But Liv's playing great too. It's tough. They're both so good, so talented. How can we keep them comfortable in any position they're in and against any opponent? And I feel like we accomplished that goal. Just making the adjustment was pretty seamless, and both of them continued to play really well.
Can you use the both of them to kind of, you're putting these little double play opponents too, to make them serve different patterns, to kind of mess with their team's serving strategy at all?
For sure. Definitely that doesn't play into as much as our decision, but we know that it will change opponents, their tactics and their game plans if we switch them.
How have you seen Laney and Liv kind of adjust and embrace the fact that they could be a DS this week, they could be libero, and how are they kind of handling it?
The most important thing as a staff is that we, are as honest as possible and try to communicate with them what we're doing and why. Now, do they like it all the time? Probably not, but I think they're each other's biggest cheerleaders, and you can't deny that they're making each other better, and both of them are improving. Laney's becoming a better passer, Liv's becoming a better defender. Like, they're making each other stronger and better players.
How have you seen the group sort of embrace and play with pride in terms of this sweet streak and not trying to give up a set in a big time ago?
Yeah, honestly, we don't talk about it a whole lot, just that we haven't lost a set. It's, been really focused on one game at a time, and what we have to do to beat that opponent, and more importantly, what are some things we need to do to improve. And the margin is really small right now, but the team really takes it to heart when we tell them we can improve here or there, and they attack it that week in practice. And then it's been really awesome to see it show up in matches, and you see different areas improve every week. Our blocking thing is getting better and better. Our out-of-system setting is getting better. There's things at the beginning of the year we weren't doing at a super high level that we're starting to get very high level.
You hit over 300 in every one of those matches in this sweep streak. What do you like about the way the offense is running now?
Just the variation, the fact we get everybody involved. We're using the back row. Our back row attack is super good right now between Harper and Terea. So there's not a lot to dislike. Both middles are playing well, and even if they feel like they missed their first couple, we're continuing to go at them or go to them, and that's going to be really important, is just to not lose confidence when things might not be going perfectly. As we know what's got us this far, and we're going to continue to rely on that.
Where do you see opportunities to improve, even as well as you're playing offensively?
Yeah, I think the out-of-system setting still, could be better when Bergen's not setting. How are we attacking? I think we can move hitters around. We're starting to move Virginia a little bit more, and you can tell she's really comfortable with that. So that's going to be kind of fun the second half of the Big Ten. And, again, reinforcing to Taylor that she's out there to score points and not to extend rallies. And I thought this past weekend she did a really good job of taking control of that and taking big swings and scoring some big points.
Who has made the biggest jump in your mind in the out-of-system set?
I think both Laney and Liv needed a lot of improvement, and I would say their jumps have been pretty equal. Talking about them, that they've both improved a lot.
I didn't know if it was an outside thing.
No, I mean, Harper and Taylor are both great setters. Becca might be our best out-of-system setter on the whole team. So that's why when she gets a chance, she's like knocking people over because she wants to set the ball.
Troy Dannon made a comment last night on his radio show about the potential of future NCAA tournament games at PBA. Obviously, you expressed wanting to do some regular season ones in the future, but what are your just thoughts about doing potentially tournament games there as well?
I've always been for growing the sport of volleyball and getting more eyes on us, and any team for that matter. So if we can double our fans, I don't know why we wouldn't do it. Now I know there's scheduling issues, which we'll work through, but I mean, I do think the Vannie's a more home court advantage, but I don't think it's so significantly a home court advantage to keep 8,000 people out from watching us play.
You also mentioned that playing in a non-traditional venue. I imagine, does the same logic apply to that, or why are you open to possibly playing in future years a non-traditional volleyball venue?
Again, volleyball just continues to grow, and people want to put us on TV on major networks, and sometimes that might take thinking out of the box to get more eyes. So I'm open to it. Again, I don't want it to be a detriment to our team or the season or the record, but if it makes sense and people are going to do it the right way, I think we'll always be open to the conversation.
Are you the one coming to him with venue ideas in those situations, or is Troy coming to you with the
It's mostly Troy coming to us, but I do think having the first serve at AVCA kind of proved that we can handle PBA, especially once in a while, maybe not every match, but I've always wondered why we didn't play more games down there.
When you use the game changers, the players off the bench that they've called game changers, of course that's developing depth. What kind of an impact do you think that has on your starters, on the frontline players, to be able to take a seat and maybe not have to play every set, like the luxury that it provides you with them?
I do think it allows them to stay fresh, and now we're to a point like you don't want anybody to get out of shape or feel like they can't finish a 5-game match, but it's working on balancing in practices, make sure that we stay in shape. But I think it also gives them a perspective. When you watch the game, you learn so much more, and then they can also watch their teammates and see maybe what they need to improve on, and then it creates an amazing atmosphere in practice where everybody feels open to give feedback and everybody feels like they can hold each other accountable because they've seen things in matches, and then they've seen the positive impact that those players can make. So I don't think it creates any doubt. I think it just reinforces that volleyball's the ultimate team sport and we need everybody.
Is it as unique? You've seen play in other conferences and you've been around the game a lot. What do you have, that luxury that you have to bring that group off the bench? Is it as unique as it appears to be with this team? Like, have you seen anything like that before?
Probably not to this level of depth, but I also think a lot of coaches are scared to do it for a lot of reasons, because I think it potentially could mess up a rhythm. It could potentially create doubt in your starters. There's a lot of potentials, but I just see that the risk far outweighs, or the reward far outweighs the risk, especially for long term for a program and these players. And like I say it all the time, they deserve a shot to play in front of matches, and it's a great experience to go out there in front of 12,000 people in Michigan, even if it's for 10 points, to show what you can do and to be put in a situation that's tough mentally.
Couple more.
I know you like to play that. Was there a point to get Campbell out in front of her home?
Of course, I mean, we're in Michigan. Her club bought a bunch of tickets. She had a ton of family there. And she's been playing really well in practice and winning drills, so I wanted to make sure to get her in when it was appropriate, and so she could play in those matches.
Dani, just being back home this weekend, just your thoughts after being away of 5 of the last 6 matches?
It's always good to be back home and to be in our own beds and play in front of our fans, so not many more thoughts than that.
Andi talked about how she was maybe in her head a little bit, struggled with some self-doubt early on in the season, but obviously she's really thrived as the season's gone on. What have you seen from her as far as getting comfortable with her role and her kind of responsibilities in this team?
Yeah, I feel like she's really starting to see the value in scoring points with her block, and we all know that she can kill slides and kill balls behind the setter and in front of the setter, but how many points can she score and how can she affect the game from a blocking standpoint? And what's great about our middle group is they're all improving and they're all playing great, and they are probably our strongest group with each other, is always pushing each other and celebrating each other. I think that's helped Andi, is just having Kenna, who's a great blocker, Mania, who's a great blocker, in practice to go against and to watch. And I used to always say, and we used to say at Louisville, like, you recruit great blockers. That's the best way to be a great blocking team. And Mania and Ken are great blockers, so Andi gets to watch them every single day, and so her blocking naturally has gotten so much better. And I've been super, super impressed with the moves she's made, and even the balls she doesn't block, she just looks so physical and more confident and more like, I'm going to get this block attitude.
You mentioned that, I mean, the offensive production increases 75% Bergen, 25% hitters improving. What specifically in Bergen have you seen to allow that growth?
I think there's some things that you can't really coach. She's doing at a high level. I was talking to John Cook the other night just about when and how she's using the back row. You know, that's just a feel thing, and that can change us so much from match to match. And it's pretty rare to be hitting that high out of the back row, no matter what team you're on. So that's a lot of credit to her when she's using it, that it's open. And so I think that number one. And, you know, I just think she's just kind of in that flow state. She's really confident, and she's starting to understand how her hitters can score and putting them in the best situation she can. And some of that, of course, we watch film and talk about it, but a lot of that's just on her and the feel when she's out there, the decisions she's making.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.